Hi there, it's Erin Duffy, your stage presence coach, back again with another tip to help amplify your stage presence and own your unique voice so that you feel comfortable and confident in every room you walk into. So, speaking about voice, have you ever caught yourself putting on your leadership voice the moment you walked into a meeting or a presentation? And what happens then? The tone sort of gets a little bit more formal. The language is a little bit more careful. And there's a small little part of you that says, okay, time to sound impressive. Well, that might look great and polished on the outside, but inside, doesn't it feel like sometimes you're performing a version of yourself rather than actually just being you? And you know what happens when we do that? There's sometimes that imposter voice inside, just as you're about to get started, that says, hey, don't show too much, or stick to the script, or keep the real you out of it, or finally, stay polished, not personal. And maybe you have a few other lines that show up in your head in those moments. But here's the problem. In trying to sound perfectly leader-like and polished, you unintentionally are editing out the very thing that makes you relatable and memorable. Your experiences, your perspective, your voice. These are not extras. These are how people actually connect to you. And the most often where that lives in your story, in those life-defining moments, in those career-defining moments, your story. And here's the truth. Your story isn't a distraction to your leadership. It's actually the story itself. Your story is your leadership, your unique story. And here's the key message I want everyone to hear today. Your authenticity is not a liability to your leadership. It's actually your edge. Your edge. It's how people remember you, how they trust you, and how they feel connected to you. So I want to make this sort of more practical today. All right. So for your next meeting, your next presentation, maybe your next one-on-one, doesn't matter. I want you to bring in a story. All right. Just 30 to 60 seconds. And something that reveals something real about you as a business professional, as a leader. And it could be something as simple as a moment you doubted yourself, but chose to step up anyway. Or maybe a mistake you learned from that changed the way you lead. Or possibly a win that mattered because of what it meant, not just the numbers. And there's other ones you could probably choose for yourself, but just those three. We all have a story for all three of those. So pick one of them and go ahead and use a very simple model, very simple structure to build your story out. First, start with what happened. Okay, what was the situation? What was your challenge? And then what did you realize? What was the insight? What was the lesson? And then what do you do differently now? How did it shape your leadership today? How are you showing up differently today because of it? All right. It's really simple. So here is my step for everyone this week. All right. In fact, I wanted to do it today. Before you check out today, I want you to write one story using that structure. Keep it short and simple. Seriously. No polishing to be perfect. No, I want you to make it true. I want you to make it real. I want it to be you. All right. And here's the call to action. In your next big team meeting, your next one-on-one, or possibly a presentation that you're doing, share that story with the audience. All right. And then I want you to observe the energy in the room and how it shifts, how people lean in. See, when you do this, people don't just hear your expertise, they feel your authenticity and they're pulled in by you. When you stop hiding your story, you stop performing and you truly start leading, and you're leading with your voice. No longer do you have the leader voice. It's just your voice. That's when your presence lands, and that's when people remember you. So try that today. I want you to pick one of those stories, write it 30 to 60 seconds, and see how it feels. And let me know. DM me. I'm always interested in hearing about how your stories are landing and how they're coming together and how you're connecting with your audience. And if this is resonating with you and you really want to go a little bit deeper with your stories, or you might say, Erin, I like the formula, but I don't even know where to start. Go ahead and set up a 20-minute meet and greet with me. I would love to discuss the story with you. All right, that is it for this time. Wishing you all a fantastic week ahead. And I will see you next time for another tip on how to bring your executive stage presence to every room.